Hey, what's up everyone? It's B here of Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to A&S Motorcycles here in Sacramento, California. As you guys might know, A&S has a good selection of used bikes and we came across this 2018 Kawasaki Ninja 400. I've never ridden one except like a loop in a parking lot, so of course I had to steal it. So you guys take a look around the bike, I'll get geared up and I'll see you on the road. And here we are on our Ninja 400 test ride party, people. So I love little bikes. Ironically, I never possessed a little bike for the street. I've always had big bikes on the street. I started out on a 500. I guess that's a little bike, kind of, maybe? I don't know. Do you count a 500 as a little bike? It was a CBR 500R. Slow like a little bike. So I exclusively track little bikes. I love little bikes on the track. So how do we like the Kawasaki Ninja 400? So first, I'm 5'6", and I feel low-key big on this bike. It's really weird. So I have a friend who bought this bike and he's probably like 6'2", and I thought he was just being a little B word, insert here. We're trying to keep it clean on our YouTube channel. I thought he was being just a little B that oh, it's too small, it's too small. He went from a 1000cc bike to this. He kept crashing his 1000cc bike and then he finally got this. So and he kept complaining how, oh, it's so small, it's so small, it's so small. I think I understand where he's coming from. I'll definitely need to push back the rear sets a little on this, but for street riding, on the flip side, on the track, I think I would really enjoy it. You're kind of like sitting in a way that you could really easily and freely move side to side. Even, yeah, those are stock rear sets. That's very surprising. They're really short. Stock rear sets, definitely really short. So 5'6", and I think there are kind of where my rear sets on my R6 are, or 3 are, that is raised out. So you would likely, if you're a little taller, need probably some rear sets. But it's still, you know, it's a sport bike, or supposed to be. And you're supposed to be a pretty aggressive sitting position, and it definitely is a little more nosy. But it's not uncomfortable. You could go and ride this for a long time. Like, it's not gonna kill your wrists like the R1 or R6 would. So there is that. So we have ABS on this, single side brakes, single caliper. The bike has 40 something horse. Ooh, wrong directions. Thank God it has a slipper clutch. So the bike has a single side brake, but you know, it only has 40 horsepower, so you don't really need two sides. And look at that, I can flat foot it, huh? Who would have thought? So one of those bikes Bogner can flat foot. Very nice. So this, unlike the 300s, has actually a slipper clutch. So I always fuss with the shifting because I'm used to GP shift. This is not GP shift. It's a problem for me. So I always tend to downshift when I'm trying to upshift and vice versa. So I just downshifted into first when I wanted to actually upshift, and it didn't lock up in the rear. Thank you, slipper clutches. Very nice. So we have a slipper clutch. Power, I mean, it's a 400, right? It's a little peppier feeling than a stock 300, but I don't think my R3 is far behind this thing. There's a lot of bits and pieces by now for this bike, so you can make this thing have like 50 horsepower. I think it's kind of crazy, like 55 or something. So there's definitely some room for improvement. It's for, like, as a beginner, it's so light. I mean, it weighs literally, I think it's like 360 pounds. I was just on the GS that's 500 pounds almost, and this weighs 360. So you know, like when you first start riding motorcycles, it's like, you know, the weight of the bike can be very, very, very intimidating. Heck, it's still for me, right? So I enjoy light bikes. I enjoy when, you know, like it's less tiring to ride it, it's less to lug around the corner, it's less that you have to take your body weight off. So you really learn a lot on the 400s or 300s. They're so forgiving. You know, sometimes when I'm riding my R3 on the track and I grab, you know, and I kind of jerk on the throttle on a bigger bike that doesn't have electronics to kind of fix what dumb thing I just did, that would have been a crash. And the 300 just wiggles maybe a little, but all in all, it's very, very forgiving. So you know, and then also it, you know, if you accidentally dump the clutch on it, it won't 12 o'clock itself. It's I always like, whenever someone on our channel is like, hey, so would you recommend this as a first bike, I always say, hey, go to a 300 or 400 first. And first of all, because they're so cheap, and even if you dump them a couple times, you can still sell them for almost what you bought them for. You know, get the R3, get the Kawasaki 300. I really like that 400. It has a little more top speed. But that's kind of like my pet peeve, like getting on the freeway on those bikes I find questionable. But the 400 is a little more top speed, a little more get up and go than the Ninja 300. It's a perfect beginner bike. So this is a A&S, I think, for like 4,000 bucks or something like that. It's 4,400 bucks, 1,700 miles. So definitely, if you're in the market and you're a beginner rider, this is the bike for you. And the nice thing is you can take those to go-kart tracks if this is something you're looking forward to. Normally the rule is like 400cc and below. So definitely, you know, it's a comfy little, easy to get along with bike, not intimidating. It's low enough that you can easily and comfortably stand it up. It doesn't have much to it. You have high beam, low beam, indicators, it honks. We have start stop. So pretty simple. It doesn't have any modes. It doesn't have a way to turn off the ABS, but you know, with all the fancy dancy stuff that you add to the bike, it gets more expensive. So Kawasaki is trying to keep the cost for your first bike reasonable. So you know, the display is actually, this is the same display you get on that $20,000 MV Agusta. So there you go, you can say this is the MV Agusta display. But it at least tells you the gear. I find that very helpful. I hate when bikes don't, the displays don't tell you the gear, because first, I sometimes shift the wrong way, especially on the test bikes, and second, sometimes I just forget how to count, and then I like sometimes get distracted. So it's nice to be able to like glance down and say, oh yeah, I'm in third, I'm in sixth. That's no wonder that I can't start riding. I'm in 6th gear. So yeah, it's very, very comfortable. The seat is actually, I was surprised how comfortable the seat is. Well, I think Bill didn't think I can make it because I'm on the 300 and I could, and then he didn't. So I'm just gonna tootle along, and I'll see you guys in a moment. And we're back. We found Bill. He caught up. Wasn't hard. I'm on a 400. He isn't. Yep. Brakes are pretty good too, for just being one-sided and on stock paths, I presume. Pretty good. I'll take it. Slow speed stuff, very easy since the bike weighs literally nothing. It could use a quick shifter. You can get those pretty cheaply. We're coming! So, you know, definitely compared to a big bike, you kind of have to be on the throttle a little more than not. But I love, you guys, I love little bikes. There's not enough love for little bikes. The windshield is still stock. So definitely now we're at freeway speeds and the wind is right on my shoulders. So I would probably put a double bubble on it. just to get that off of you. Definitely, but you know, that's like $100 if you buy the fancy stuff upgrade. But I'm liking it. It's really fun. Really, really fun. Very nimble. It's perfect for a beginner. You know, if you're a guy that is like has been used to a 1000cc bike like Bill, and you get on something like that, you're like, all right, where is the appeal in that? And like on the straight, I get that. I totally get that. But once you're in the twisties, once you're on the track, get out on the track. If you are a street rider, find your local track day provider and get out on the track. It's so important. It's definitely saved my life, because you know, I get a little spirited, I get a little competitive, and I want to be and go fast, and I want to, you know, and I want to sometimes push the envelope a little. And if some of the stuff I've done on track, I would have probably not survived on the street if it would have went wrong on the street. Thankfully it didn't even go wrong on the track, but actually it did once. You know, I crashed at 100 miles an hour into turn 1 at Thunder Hill, and I survived it. I stood up. My bike had like $700 worth of damage. I had scratched up leathers and a scratched up helmet, and I actually barely scuffed the helmet. Like, so if you crash at 100 miles an hour on the street, that's it for you, buddy. So definitely consider going out to the track, and especially if you're on a little bike. And let me tell you something, when you're in the C group and you kind of already know what you're doing, and you're on a little bike, and then you have those guys on their BMW S1000Rs and fire breathing R1s, and then you kind of buzz past them on your little R3 or Kawasaki Ninja 400 or Kawasaki Ninja 300, and you're like, that's cute. And they might pass you back into straight, but then once you go into turn 1, you're like, see you later, buddy, and they won't catch you anymore. It's especially at like Button Willow in the counterclockwise direction. Ooh, that's little bike heaven. The turns are kind of sharper that way, and definitely need to know what you're doing. And if you know what you're doing on the 300 on that track, you have a ton of fun, and you can kind of walk on bigger bikes, which is, I always find it hilarious. So I ride with a tutu on track sometimes. For those of you who know, I ride with a neon yellow tutu, and I find it hilarious. Yeah, I find this very, very funny. Well, I'll drag race Bill. Maybe not. Maybe not. But we tried, right? But again, so comfortable. So we're almost at the A&S. Oh, and looks. I'm not like a huge Kawi fan. I kind of, when I looked from my street bike, I look at the Z900 and I was like, you're a kind of fat pig and you look kind of not pretty. And I actually really like this bike, especially in this color scheme. Very, very, very pretty. You should definitely take a look at it. You should definitely consider this if you're looking for 400. Pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. But yeah, we're almost back at A&S Motorcycles. A&S has brand new BMW, Triumph, and Ducatis, so we can test ride pretty much all of them. So if you have any questions on a specific bike that we haven't ridden yet, shoot it down below, and we'll try to get that on the schedule as weather permits. And they also have a pretty decent used inventory, so check them out. A&S, thank you so much for allowing us to do our little test rides. We love them. We really, really appreciate it. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the like button. The likes are super important for us. Super duper important. If you can do one thing for me, hit that like button. And well, I think that's about it. I like this little bike. If you're in the market, if you're a new rider, this is a really rad bike to have. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye. Bill just stalled this bike. Alright, not for reals. Bye bye.